This investigation started on February 26th with the discovery of Mr. Hackman and Miss Arakawa and their dog at their residence.
The mysterious death of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman has sent shockwaves through the film industry. Police have been hiding details, but initial reports reveal that Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found in a mummified state, possibly dead for up to 10 days before their discovery. Friends of the late actor have broken their silence, sharing perplexing details about their deaths. What really happened in those final moments? Let's dive into the enigma surrounding the great actor's final hours and uncover the chilling truth behind his last message. The discovery. In a remote area outside Santa Fe, New Mexico, the bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife, classical musician Betsy Arakawa, were discovered inside their gated home. The grim discovery was made by a maintenance worker who had grown concerned after repeated failed attempts to contact the couple. When the worker entered the residence, he found the front door open, and the scene inside was nothing short of unsettling. Gene was discovered in a side room near the kitchen. His body showed no obvious signs of trauma, but there were indications of a rapid collapse. His sunglasses and walking cane were abandoned nearby, as if he had been in the middle of something when he fell. Betsy, on the other hand, was found on the bathroom floor. A prescription bottle and scattered pills sat on the countertop near her body, and a portable heater lay near her head, possibly dragged down in a hurried attempt to stay warm. The couple's German Shepherd was also found dead in the same bathroom closet, adding another layer of mystery to the scene. The dog's cause of death, like that of its owners, remains unknown. The lack of obvious signs of trauma or forced entry into the property led authorities to rule out a break-in or robbery. However, the open front door raised questions. Was it an accident, a tragic event, or something far more sinister? The Santa Fe Sheriff's Office quickly announced that the deaths were suspicious enough to warrant a full investigation, though they cautioned against jumping to conclusions. The investigation begins. Sheriff Ad Mendoza addressed the press, stating that while foul play hadn't been ruled out, there was no immediate evidence to suggest a crime had been committed. The bodies appeared to have been dead for a significant amount of time, possibly up to 10 days, before they were discovered. This raised questions about the timeline of events leading up to their deaths. Investigators first explored the possibility of carbon monoxide poisoning, a silent killer often associated with unnoticed deaths. However, after inspecting the property, the Santa Fe Fire Department and the New Mexico Gas Company found no evidence of a threatening gas leak. There was a minor leak in one of the stove burners, but it was deemed insufficient to pose a serious risk. Carbon monoxide poisoning was ultimately ruled out. Next, investigators turned their attention to the possibility of poisoning or overdose, particularly given the prescription pills found near Betsy's body. The pills were sent for analysis, but the results were inconclusive. Gene's pacemaker, which was recovered from his body, provided a crucial clue. It logged its last activity on February 17th, exactly 9 days before the bodies were discovered. This suggested that Gene's life may have ended at that point, and Betsy likely died around the same time. But what caused their deaths? Was it a natural cause, like a heart attack, or something more sinister? The house itself offered few clues to help piece together the timeline. The maintenance worker who had last dealt with the couple 2 weeks prior informed police that they mostly communicated with Betsy by phone and text. Their relationship felt distant, as they rarely saw each other in person. Despite the workers' assurances that they had no direct involvement in the couple's lives, the discovery of the open door and the disturbing scene inside left investigators with more questions than answers. A life of seclusion. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa had lived a reclusive life in Santa Fe, far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Gene, 95, had retired from acting in the early 2000s, choosing to spend his final years away from the public eye. Betsy, 65, a classical pianist, had always maintained a lower profile than her famous husband, but was equally devoted to their quiet life together. Friends of the couple noted that their isolation had deepened over the years, particularly after the global pandemic in 2020. The couple had always valued their privacy, but the pandemic seemed to accelerate their withdrawal from society. They stopped admitting visitors entirely, and longtime friends realized they hadn't seen Gene or Betsy in years. Communication was limited to occasional phone calls, and even those were brief and infrequent. Betsy handled most of the couple's day-to-day affairs, from grocery shopping to paying bills and managing household maintenance. Gene, on the other hand, rarely ventured out of the house, except for occasional doctor's appointments. His once regular outings became increasingly infrequent, and he seemed to prefer the comforts of home. Friends who had known Gene for decades noted that he had grown more reclusive, even by his standards. One friend, who had lived nearby, admitted they hadn't seen Gene in at least 2 years. "It was like they just disappeared," the friend said. "Betsy would call every now and then to check in, but the calls were never long, and we never heard from Gene." This deepening isolation has left many wondering if it played a role in their mysterious deaths. Were they cut off from help when they needed it most? Or was their seclusion a deliberate choice to protect themselves from something or someone? Expert theories. As the investigation progressed, forensic experts and investigators proposed several theories to explain the couple's deaths. One pathologist suggested that Gene may have died from a heart attack, given his history of heart disease. Gene's autopsy revealed no visible injuries or signs of foul play, pointing to natural causes. The pathologist noted that sudden cardiac episodes are unfortunately common among the elderly, especially those with a history of heart problems. Betsy's death, however, was more puzzling. She was found on the bathroom floor, with a prescription bottle and scattered pills nearby. The pathologist theorized that Betsy may have been trying to help Gene during a medical emergency. Perhaps she had rushed to get medication for him, only to slip or fall in the process. This could have caused an undiscovered head injury, such as internal bleeding in her brain. Such injuries are often difficult to detect without a visible wound. The couple's dog added another layer of complexity to the case. The German Shepherd was found dead in the bathroom closet, and forensic experts speculated that the animal may have died of dehydration. With no food or water available for the dog during the 9-day period between Gene's pacemaker stopping and the discovery of the bodies, dehydration seemed a likely cause. However, this raised further questions about the timeline of events. Did the dog die before or after its owners? And why was it in the bathroom closet? An FBI agent involved in the investigation suggested another possibility: food poisoning. The agent theorized that the couple and their dog may have consumed contaminated food, leading to a poisoning episode. Investigators examined the couple's refrigerator, trash, and other potential sources of contamination, but no conclusive evidence was found. While food poisoning could explain some of the symptoms, it didn't fully account for the timeline or the specific circumstances of the deaths. Gene's final message. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of the case is the message Gene Hackman left in his final hours. The call, made just hours before his death, was traced to an unregistered phone with no known owner. The message, left on an answering machine, was short, cryptic, and deeply unsettling. "I don't have long, but it is over. The door was always locked, but now it's open. You'll understand soon enough." The call ended abruptly, leaving investigators and the public baffled. What did Gene mean by "the door was always locked, but now it's open"? Was it a metaphor for something deeper? A warning, a cry for help, or something far darker? The FBI has been tight-lipped about the message, but they haven't ruled out the possibility that it was connected to the couple's deaths. The unregistered phone adds another layer of mystery, as it has no known ties to Gene, Betsy, or anyone in their immediate circle. Was the call intended for a friend or family member? Or was it part of something more sinister? Outro: Gene Hackman's death is shrouded in mystery. Was it natural causes, an accident, or something more calculated? His final message hints at secrets he may have been trying to expose. What did he discover in his final days? And why did his life end so abruptly? As the investigation continues, the world remembers Gene's legendary career and the quiet life he shared with Betsy, but the questions surrounding their deaths remain unanswered. What really happened in those final hours? Only time, and the pending autopsy and toxicology results, will tell. Until then, the mystery of Gene Hackman's final message continues to haunt us. What was he trying to say? And who was on the other end of that call? Stay tuned as we uncover more about this chilling story.